Hello everyone, hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the another episode of DevOps with Zach. I'm Arshad Zakaria, and today I have Thilina to discuss his recent experience with AWS RDS Write IOPS. He's an associate tech lead cloud services at Cisco Labs, also a blogger. So let's get started. Hello everyone. Today's main session about it's relating to observability and monitoring. Yes, and we're going to talk about a use case about one of the tools in AWS, which is RDS, and it's related to IOPS in AWS RDS. So we have a special guest who is Thilina. He's going to share his one of his use cases he faced day to day his operations, how he rectified these issues and how he found these problems, and how they automated to um, identify and monitor these things using the observability practices. If I give a brief about these RDS, it's a relation database service in AWS, which has a few servers, few database supporting currently MySQL, MariaDB, PostgreSQL, SQL, Oracle, so on. They have their own nice tools such as RDS performance monitoring, so where you can go and check uh, how your queries are behaving. Like if you have any bad queries, it will identify. If you have any queries for like for example, if you're using a bad join query, so you can identify they are like okay, this exact query is using so much of resources, and its execution time is very high, and you can identify those things and rectify and release in the inform the developer team, and release in the next release. So that's one of the tool. And AWS, they have such awesome tool as AWS CloudWatch, and I really love CloudWatch. I use day-to-day CloudWatch to check a lot of things. We have such a use case today. Our friend Thilina had issue with IOPS in AWS RDS, and he's going to explain how we found these things and how the IOPS and throughputs are different, how it's managing, and I'll be sharing some of my experience as well, and how to handle these things in a best manner. Hi Thilina, how are you doing?
Hi, Arshad. Yeah, I'm doing it good. How are you?
I'm doing really great, really great. So hope you're staying safe. So Thilina, what was the issue actually? What happened about these IOPS? How impact IOPS with your RDS? Can you brief
Ye-
about explain what has actually happened?
Yeah, definitely. So, actually, the our most of our infrastructure holding on AWS, where we are deploying day-to-day applications, managing the stuff, and like almost our lives are based on the cloud environment. So this is one of the use cases that actually I have faced recently when I'm trying to deploy one of my applications over the cloud. So when it comes to the application behavior, it's a typical a web application which consists of number of containers, and in addition to that, it connected with an RDS as well. So this is this application written from Java, and yeah, that's pretty much about it. The application, what it does, and all. Actually,
Okay.
when it comes to the application operations, it consists of number of write operations and read operations as well. So yeah, when it comes to the when we try to go live, before we go live, we usually do a benchmarking whatever application
Yeah,
we do deploy.
that's I think uh, benchmarking is really really important. So let me explain what is that like for the audience. Before we go to the production, like Katilina said, we're doing some kind of a benchmark load testing, and we kind of stress the infrastructure, and we check whether uh, how the infrastructure is behaving actually. So what are things are breaking, right, Tilna?
Yeah, exactly. So when it comes to my use case, my scenario, we used to test our applications with about 1000 TPS. So when we do the load test, we observe some sort of a behavior like the TPS value becomes 600, 500, and eventually it becomes 400 as well. So this is kind of an abnormal behavior in our situation. So actually we try to troubleshoot this by following four steps actually. If I explain it, first thing, we checked it from the reverse proxy level troubleshooting, like to identify, to actually to contain the scenario where we should focus, because these sort of enterprise applications consists of huge code repos and like multiple developers getting engaged on the code,
I think
and
multiple services as well, right? Not only
yes,
like single service.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So first what we did was we started from the reverse proxy level and started the troubleshooting over there. And then we went to do a comprehensive code review. This is not the place to do the code review. It has been already done, but we need to make sure we did not miss anything. So we started like checking the components, each components again, and trying to identify the bugs in the code. Like then now we have done two steps. One is reverse proxy level. The other one is the identifying the code review and everything. So then we started to decouple the services and try out stress them separately, right? And ultimately, finally, actually, what we did was we simulate the scenario in a different environment where we have used the separate container environment for our databases as well. Then we rectify this issue is related to the RDS. So that's basically what has happened and how it went on. Yeah, Zach.
What are the tools like? I would like love to ask. What are the tools like AWS CloudWatch? What are the tools you narrow down like a monitor while you're running the benchmark load testing? So how you monitored your application performance, and like maybe are you guys using APM or any
Yes.
other tools? Yeah.
So when it comes to our scenario, we are using Fargate. So we do have the AWS onboard monitoring stuff for container insights and also the
Insight,
CloudWatch.
yes.
Yeah. So both
Which
of
is
them
pretty
are,
easy, right? Like, you don't have to
yeah,
worry. Just ship your logs to the CloudWatch. You can do the CloudWatch inside, and you can query it. Like it's pretty awesome, actually. Yeah.
exactly. Yes. 100% agreed, Zach. So that's pretty much a simple, I mean, like makes our lives easier, right? Isn't it?
Correct. That's the purpose of tools. Like in DevOps
Yeah.
culture, the reason we are using tools makes our life easier rather
Easier.
like
Yeah.
complicated things and automate things. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's super cool.
So,
So
and we check.
okay,
Yeah, we checked for the slow queries as you mentioned, and there was nothing. But ultimately, we found out that the IOPS is the culprit for this one.
so the culprit is IOPS,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so it's a good like a use case that in the day-to-day life that you're doing a load test kind of a benchmark, and you found this the culprit is IOPS. So you're talking about IOPS and throughputs, right? So
Yeah.
can you give like a small a comparison? What is IOPS and throughputs, like how it's bit different with each other?
So if I give a kind of a small introduction to both of them, like IOPS measures the number of reads and writes, actually read write
Okay,
operations per second,
okay.
while the throughput actually measures the number of bits reads or written per second actually. So
Okay.
I know Arshad, you have kind of idea on this one. Can you just give me a kind of a introduction
Yeah,
to?
it's okay. Real time. I mean, it's very real time scenarios, like how it occurred. Like you said, like IOPS. Yes, it's input and output per second, and throughputs like the bits. So how it matters is, okay. Let's get two like a hardware level, a magnetic drive, and a disk drive and a SSD, and we have the NVMe SSDs as well. So even though like my personal machine, when I when I buy a hard drive, I know it's not good for the hardware like a health level, like it can be damage it, but we can do some benchmark testings. So when it comes to the disk drives and the SSDs, definitely there's a big, huge difference, right? So when it comes to GP2, so that's why they have like IOPS volumes, which if your application is like more intensive, IOPS and throughputs, like you can go for this IOPS based volumes rather than GP2. So you can get a better performance. But when it's come to the financial side, yes, it's you're paying what you're getting, right? So it's a bit expensive comparing to the GP2 and IOPS level. So we are talking about the AWS. So yes, so that's the major difference what I'm seeing in my personal experience. So if you have anything, you can add that as well, Tin. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you have explained everything. Yeah, 100% correct, Arshad. True. So that's pretty much about the throughput and the IOPS. Yeah.
So now we are going to check like how you guys rectified this issue, like how you faced it, and you found that the issue is the culprit is the IOPS,
Yeah.
and what are the best method you guys used. And I'm sure, Athena, you're working with a very collaborative team, and you sure
Yes.
you had a huge discussion with multiple teams and your team members. So
Exactly.
what's the so when it's come to the solution, what the best solution you found, and can you tell us like how you rectify this issue actually?
Yeah. So when it comes to handling these sort of situations in a production like environment, like if you are facing this sort of an issue in the production level, you have actually two options. So I'll explain it first. So actually, you can move in out from general IOPS and use the provisioned IOPS, where you will be have the luxury to select the IOPS as you wish. So there are certain limitations available, but still you can
I think
survive.
there's a calculation, right? I think, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
later I will put that the AWS that IOPS calculation link on the description. So if anyone interested, they can go and check. Yeah, go ahead, go
Yeah.
ahead.
And in addition to that, one of the options available is increasing the storage size, which is not the recommended way. So we tried out the first one. So actually, moving out from general IOPS to the provision IOPS, and there's a limitation which is there's a limitation by AWS level, where once you change the IOPS, you have to wait for about 6 hours to make it change again. So take the decision wisely, because so if you are working on a production environment, and once you make a change, you have to wait for 6 hours, right? That's sort of a limitation, but still you can simply migrate from general to provision, and you can make sure that you are getting the production traffic correctly, and you are not disturbing your businesses. So but one more thing I need to mention here is the cost, where whatever you when you move out from the general IOPS to the provision IOPS, in that scenario there might be a cost is really depends on your workload, and additionally the
Nature of the business as well, right?
yes, exactly, yeah, nature of the business as well. So
I think, you know, it's a there's a noticeable amount of difference when it come to cost with these general IOPS and
yeah,
yes, I think even though my previous organization which I worked, we tested this, like we tried to do some POC.
yeah,
We faced this issue, so we can deliver that. So we had to find the more suitable, flexible solution for your customers. It matters like like we have like several variables with us to put and mix. Like it's one of the thing is like the cost, because cost matters for everything, right?
yes,
Security and the performance, everything come later, but the cost also there. So we have to balance everything. So yes, like you said, we had to properly test in the development UAT environment before we move
yeah,
to production. Yeah, if someone is doing in this directly production, they're not doing the best practices. So
yes,
sorry for them. Yeah.
sorry for them, definitely. So yeah, that's pretty much about it actually, Zach.
Wow. Yes. So Tila, So this scenario, like, can you tell us, like, why this observability is important to identify these things, and for the maybe for the root causes. So before something goes wrong, your team did a great job, and did a load testing and a benchmark one, and you found the issue, and then you gave the proper solution for that. So as a good DevOps principles and practices, what you would like to tell the audience, like, what are things to follow?
So basically, like when it comes to the DevOps environments, like one thing you need to make sure the uptime of the applications, right? I mean, like when it comes to new deployments or like bug fixes or whatever you do, DevOps
Correct.
comes, you need to make sure your application is up and running, right? So
Correct.
to do that, I mean, like there are certain tools. I mean, even from your previous podcast, there are like number of tools that you discussed, right? So there are a lot. I mean, like open sourced one, commercial ones available you to use. So I'm not going to specify any tools over here. So, but still
Yes, yes,
there
the
are a
practice
lot
is
of
fine. Yeah, practice
yes,
matters. We can use any
practice
tools, but the
matters.
practice matters.
Practice
So
matters.
you agree, right? The observability is one of the pivotal part for the DevOps. Very important to have a proper observability, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Okay, Tina, thank you very much for your time. It's such a nice use case, because these are things we really wanted to share with the audience, because these are the day-to-day things we are facing, and how we rectify. And it's a good experience, how we're sharing things. So thank you very much again, Tina, for joining with us today.
Yeah, one more thing,
Yeah,
Arshad. So there are
yeah, go
like
ahead.
when it comes to this kind of a situation, there are a number of ways to resolve it, right? I'm actually love to
Yeah,
learn from the audience, like from the community. If there are any, I mean, like this can be done in
correct.
multiple ways. Like if
Yes.
guys can comment on this post or like they can share the experience, how we can rectify this sort of situation. I'll be like constructive comments are warmly welcome. Actually,
Yes, yes, we cannot say this is the perfect method, right? There are
yes,
so many
exactly.
things. So what we
Yeah,
can what we can ask from the audience is, okay, I'll be sharing this podcast with several media. So in the comment section, they can definitely feel free to
yeah,
share the experience as well. That's the main purpose of these things, just sharing the knowledge
knowledge. Yeah.
with each and everyone. So yes, thank you very much again to your time. Thank you for your time, Thilina. Yeah,
Okay, thank you, Arshad. Thank you.
thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you, Tilna, for joining today. And if you'd like to read the blog post of Tilna, please check the links in the description. I look forward to seeing you again with another episode of DevOps with Zach.